Hey guys, this is Michael Ensminger. I am with Kirk Wilson. Kirk, how you doing?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thanks for having me.
So, tell the people who don't know who the infamous Kirk is, who you are.
Okay. As he said, I'm Kirk Wilson. I currently reside in Pacific, Washington, where I'm based out of our office there. And I am primarily handling the sales coordinating in Western Oregon for our heavy haul division and our Western 11 fleet.
Right on. Awesome. So where do you fit in the family of all the kids and cousins and everyone else?
So I guess I am kind of the middle.
Okay. So walk me through it.
Lisa is the oldest.
Okay.
Tyler, myself, and then Cameron.
Okay.
Lisa, Tyler, and myself are all 86. So there's only a few months in between all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And then Cameron.
And then Cameron.
Cameron there. Cool. So you grew up with all of them, right? And then your cousin Skip?
Yep.
Okay. And so tell me.
Skip would be a year behind Cameron.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And then tell me, what was it like growing up, outside of trucking? Just where'd you guys grow up and what did that look like?
We grew up outside of town quite a ways. Fairgrove, which is like 10, 15 miles north of Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Had 10 acres right on the river. So just, being a young boy and having all of that at your fingertips, just running wild and not wearing clothes half the time, whatever, just pretty much let free to do what we wanted.
Nice. So what were you into as a kid? Like sports?
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles? Yeah. Who was your favorite?
Michelangelo.
Yeah. Nunchucks.
Cowabunga.
Did you have any nunchucks?
No, I didn't have. No, I mean, I probably tried to make some with some sticks and rope, but no.
I was spoiled. I had some nunchucks.
Yeah, no, we just pretended.
Who else played with you? Was it everyone?
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Who was all the other Ninja Turtles?
Cameron was Raphael.
He would be.
Yeah, he would. He definitely was. Clark was Donatello. Tyler wasn't around that early, and then Lisa obviously was April.
Okay.
We weren't going to let her be a Ninja Turtle.
No way. Did she have a yellow jumpsuit?
No. She probably had the little toy van. But...
I bet we could convince her to be April for Halloween.
Yeah, maybe we could.
We'll get the Ninja Turtles back together.
All right.
Nice.
I'd be down for that.
Were you into bike, like motocross and stuff like that, or what did you like as a kid?
We started, I don't know, riding bikes all the time. Obviously, living on gravel roads, had to get around. So we were really into bikes, and then once we were, 10, 11, 12, old enough to drive something with a motor, we got dirt bikes and four-wheelers.
Yep. Cool. When do you remember when you first kind of realized that, what your dad was doing, his business was trucking, and how that impacted your life?
Whether it was a Saturday or, my mom picking me up from school and going directly to the shop, I mean, I don't know that there was a time I really didn't know, that he was in trucking or he was a mechanic and we had trucks and all that.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, one of the first times, did you start working at the company when you were young?
Yeah. We were there all the time anyway, so it was easier to put us to work than let us get covered in oil anyway. So
what were you doing? Like working in the shop?
Details, yeah.
Okay.
Details, and then once we were old enough to push a tire around, we'd start doing tires and
just anything, just working in the shop.
Yeah.
Cool. Find anything as a young boy in those trucks?
Plenty. Yeah, before cell phones were around.
Before the internet?
Yeah, you had to have magazines, found plenty of those.
Gotcha.
Got caught with quite a few of them at home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So
every boy's dream.
So what was the business like at that time with you growing up? It was just Wil-Trans in Springfield. How big?
So, like, thinking back to like my first memories, it was our little shop off of Nias. It was 3 bays. It was like a square building, and 3 of them were bays, and then where 1 bay would have been was a multi-level office.
Okay.
So, I mean, small, 2 mechanics, half a dozen maybe employees. Kathy Hill was one of them.
Who's still with us.
Yeah, who's still with us.
Yeah.
Don Taylor was one of them I can remember as a young kid who's still with us. But just super small, 1 acre lot.
Yep. And just the grind of that.
Shop was probably 20 years old then, so it was a cringy old shop.
Yeah. So talk to me about all the different positions that you've held in the company. Obviously, you kind of started out as a kid in the shop, but from there, when did you get serious in the business, and what all have you done?
So I have obviously worked in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
When we moved from Nias, we had a pretty good sized shop and body shop, and worked in the shop there, and also worked in the parts department. And then after that, I believe I would have moved into operations. I kind of had like a split shift where I was working like half the day in the parts room, and then I would work half the night in ops.
In ops, yeah.
Yeah, and then I flipped into operations.
Cool.
Done some road assist. I've never really recruited, but
You're okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Nice. So road assist and then full-time ops?
I was full-time ops before road assist.
Okay.
Whenever we were in Missoula and we needed to fill a road assist role, I did that for about a year.
Got it. And then back into ops, and then now, what are you doing?
It is very much the same. I'm still operations.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, working with drivers, making sure loads are picked up on time and safe, I'm working with customers to make sure that we have freight that our drivers can pick up and deliver on time and safely. Just a little bit different of a role.
So are you coordinating a specific area?
Yeah, Western Oregon.
Okay. And so what fleet or division is that for
So
Wilson?
it would be both heavy haul and Western 11.
Okay, so it's not just one or the other.
It's not just one or the other.
Okay, so you just planned that entire area.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're two separate things. I mean, you kind of have to, flip the switch on, when you're planning one versus the other, because they're, couldn't be more different. But
Yep.
Yeah, same area. And the benefit that I feel from that is, since it is dry, we have so much rollover. We've got one customer that's going to ship north out of Portland with heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and that same customer is going to ship, say, south into California for Western 11. So we can kind of have one person dealing with that customer, and I think have a better relationship than, say, one person doing heavy haul, one person doing Western 11, and that one customer is dealing with two different people from the same company. I think it's more streamlined.
Right, that makes sense. So you would pretty much own that relationship with that customer.
Correct.
For both types of freight.
Yeah, and I think they definitely prefer that, and it works better for us.
Sure.
I think.
So did we try it the other way before?
We have done a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When do you remember did we make that switch?
We haven't fully flipped the switch.
Okay.
When you're covering both divisions out of one area, there's going to be a different workload. So not everybody necessarily can do that, or we don't want them to do that.
Sure, that makes sense. What's something that you like about this new role, working with the customers more, that you didn't really think you would have? Or something that was unexpected, like you thought this about this role, but jumping into it, coming from fleet management, something was a little bit different.
I really, really, really like, working with the drivers directly. Nobody has a better pulse on our fleet, than our drivers, and then the people who are working with our drivers every single day. So it's tough to beat that in itself. On the other hand, it is nice to work with the customers and get a good handle on what their needs are.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be probably the biggest benefit. What are they looking for out of Wilson Logistics?
Yeah. So knowing what it's like, having the conversations through, your fleet management role, and now coming on the customer side, do you have like a strong piece of advice for our existing experienced drivers that you might not have thought of before?
Information and communication is key. I definitely have a better pulse on what the customers are looking for, and the market changes so fast. 2019 is already different than 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So to plan a truck and communicate with the fleet manager on why we're doing this, good or bad, to have them relay that to the driver, just knowing to do that
Yep.
right offhand, I think is is a big plus.
So is that something you would do differently if you were back in a fleet management role today?
No, I'm just saying that's probably something that I try to make sure I do, so the fleet manager already has that information when they
Got it.
go to the driver. It's not just, hey, here's
Mm-hmm.
here's what I need you to do.
Yep, that makes sense. Do you have some strong relationships with some of our drivers?
Yeah.
Can you name a couple?
Robert Muck, probably, yeah. I'm inviting him to my wedding. I mean, there's a handful of drivers.
That's awesome.
Mike Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
So your Muck's going to the wedding?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
When are you getting married?
September 7th.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, feels good.
Yep, feels great.
Cool. So I was talking to Lisa earlier. I almost never say Lisa. I usually say Wheezy. And she mentioned a couple things that I should ask you. One thing was, what did you want to be called when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, my grandpa used to call me Kirky the Turkey, which I did not like at all. So I forced everyone to start calling me Kirky the Turkey the Bat, because I thought bats were cool and I knew I wasn't going to get out of the whole turkey thing.
Did it stick?
Not as well as I would have liked. I mean, no one calls me it anymore except maybe Wheeze.
Well, maybe we'll replenish that
okay.
one for you.
Turkey the Turkey the Bat.
Kirky the Turkey the Bat. That just rolls right
Yeah,
off
it
the
does.
tongue. Maybe we should get some T-shirts made.
We should.
Right on.
A cape.
Cool. Yeah, I could dig that. Tell me the story behind a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
So, we were kids, I don't know, 7, 8-ish, and it was a snow day, I believe. Probably a weekend, if I remember correctly. But we lived kind of on this bluff, and there was a river down at the bottom, and there was a driving trail to get down to the river, which was fairly steep. We would sled down. Well, one day, me and Cameron decided that we're going to sled off the bluff. There was, I don't know, maybe 10 feet drop. Not awful, but it seemed like a cliff at the time. So we get our sleds up to the top, and Wheezy's there with us, and she's like, no, you guys can't do it. You guys can't do it. Once we started looking over, and Cameron's like, yeah, I can't do it either. We're not doing it. And I was like, man's got to do what a man's got to do. And I promise I wasn't even going to do it. I get on the sled, and I'm kind of pretending like I'm going to go, and I don't know if I slipped or what, but I went over face first.
Break anything?
No, hit my knee on a rock. It hurt for a while, but
man's got to do what a man's got to do.
It was snowy, and I was still pretty bouncy. So
How old were you?
7 or 8, probably.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Kirk, thanks again. And on this latest episode of Between Two Cones, we really appreciate you guys joining in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, jump into the comments, make fun of Kirk's nickname, make fun of me, ask us any questions. We'll get them over to Kirk, and we'll reply. So appreciate it. Stay safe out there.